It's the 2022 Lone Star Conference Basketball Media Days. On behalf of the Lone Star Conference at Lubbock Christian University, I'm Chris Stu. We're joined by Steve Gomez as we take a look at the Lubbock Christian University Lady Chaparrals. They were the runner-up at the South Central Region Tournament as they were one step away from advancing to the NCAAs and trying to chase down another national championship. Coach, you're returning a squad that has 5 new starters. And so with that said, are those championship hopes still there? Where do you set the bar for this team this year?
Yeah, I think in probably 20 years of now being at LCU, this may be the first year ever that we've turned over all the starters. And we have some players back that started some games, but it wasn't a game-by-game thing for them. So it is sort of, it's sort of fun. It's a new adventure. We want to set our bar very high in terms of excellence of play, excellence of living. So we really don't talk a lot about championships any year. We just want to do the best we can. And I think we have a group that's going to be fun to watch.
X's and O's wise, how are the dynamics different from with this team?
Yeah, some changes. This may be a year we never even run a set play. That's probably not going to happen, but it's a team that we're probably going to just let play a little more, maybe a little more freedom. We've got some young, energetic players that hopefully will provide some pop and some creativity offensively. And defensively, we're going to have to continue to do a lot of different things. So it's sort of going to be a work in progress all year long, of finding out what's the best thing at the moment instead of going in with the same plan for the entire year.
Talk about some of those new names of this that's joining this roster, and who could be kind of the instant impact. Last year it was Grace Foster. Who could fill that role this year? Yeah,
we've got a number of sophomores that didn't play much at all last year, so they're not new to the program. But Carly Bostwick and Reese Schumann. We've got Rachel Haase as another sophomore coming back. Audrey Spurgeon. We want those 4 to take a bigger role than they had last year. But also then our freshmen. It's always fun to see how that's going to happen with Marty McCoy and Tia and Deja Johnson and Taylor Thomas, 4 freshmen that we're going to need some input and some productivity from those kids also.
Do you see the mindset of a freshman, a sophomore, where years past they see the Allie Schultes, the Ashton Duncan names and go, man, I'm just going to have to learn from them this year, where maybe that mindset this year is the door's open for myself to get some playing time? I
think it's real important that we capitalize on opportunities individually because, right now, some years you go in knowing who's going to play and maybe who's not going to play. And this is one of those years that it's open for lots of people to play. And so we do want those, some of those players had to wait their turn also. Ashton, Laney Burr, those kids took a while. Right now we need people to mature quickly because we can't afford them to wait 2 years before it's their time.
Coach, kind of put your analyst cap on. If you're on the outside looking in, you're looking at the Lone Star Conference and you're also measuring some of those other regions and other conferences around Division II. How do you kind of shape up the aspect of the Lone Star Conference?
Yeah, just a good, deep conference. It's sort of, I guess, to compare it sometimes to a roster where you go in knowing maybe which players are going to play and which aren't. Sometimes you look at a conference and know, well, these are the best and these teams may not be. I think the Lone Star is a lot of parity in our conference, so there's a lot of high-quality teams. And so, there's some that come back with a lot of players from last year that were really good, so you sort of put them in a chance to do that again. At the same time, some rosters change so much every year that they might be way better than they're even expected to be. So it's hard, as a prognosticator to say, well, these teams should end up at the top and these won't. Every game we've seen, even last year, all our teams saw any team on a night could win, which is a good thing. You have to be on your game. So I guess at the end of the year, the team that stays steady at a high quality is going to have a chance to be in the top 3, 4, 5 in the conference.
Final question for you before we talk to one of your players, that being Audrey Robertson. Talk about her role and her, her skill set and the way you've seen her progress. As now she's sister free and is the last of the Robertson sisters.
Yeah. We've had tremendous success with families, and the Robertsons have been amazing for us. And then Audrey now, as a junior, is going to step into a big role. She came in as a freshman as just a great athlete, a warrior, a competitor. I think we've seen her over the last 2 years become a really good basketball player. She can do so many things on the floor, not only with her grit and her toughness, but just with her skills. She's continued to improve in all areas: shooting, handling the ball, passing decisions. She's just never going to quit. And that might be her biggest quality, is just the fight that she has every day in practice, every drill. So we need her to take on a load, but not just one of those hustle players. She now needs to become, a scorer, a producer, a creator. But she's capable of doing that.
And now joined by Audrey Robertson, who has already had 2 seasons under her belt as a member of the Lady Chaps. And Audrey, talk about what you feel your role changes the most going into this season as compared to prior seasons.
Well, I feel like prior seasons we had a lot of older, experienced girls who just got the job done, and I had a role on the team just to go in and play my hardest and for a couple minutes and then come out. I feel like this year those girls are gone, and so we all move up on the ladder, and I feel like I'm just going to have a bigger role, but just to play and just be a leader on the team this year, and that's a big change from last year.
When you review a roster going into the following season or a new season, it's always, well, who's your returning starter? Who's the senior leader? But you're going to be looking at a roster that has 5 new starters, and then you go down the pecking order, and you're probably on the list, along with Grace of who comes in the most in a number 6 or number 7 spot. And so, with that said, does that create pressure on you to kind of be the leader of this team?
I feel like pressure, I don't know, I feel like it's there a little bit, but more excitement. I feel like Grace and I and Macy and Shaylee and even like everybody else, we're just going to have a big role on this team because we're all new. We all just can get the job done, and I feel like a lot of people are going to get a lot of time, and it's going to be fun to see how it plays out, but there's not much pressure, more excitement, I guess. A good pressure.
Along with the role of being a Lady Chap, it involves a lot of involvement on the court and off the court. Talk about some of the community events that you guys do that puts yourself in the community and brings the community as part of the Lady Chap family.
Yeah, we've done a couple catering events, and actually tomorrow morning we're doing a Special Olympic event. We're helping with that. So those are just a couple of things, and just communicating with professors and the community and staff, and some of them come to our practices. I feel like those are just little things we do to involve the community as well.
And everybody talks about what the Lady Chaps do on the court, all the awards they receive, but you and your squad produce a lot of academic honors and success. Talk about that dynamic. I know Coach Gomez, they give you the time you need to get studies done, but with so much demand on the court, talk about some of the things that you guys do that creates the success off the court and in the classroom.
I feel like we're just a group of people of excellence. Like, we just want to get the job done on the court and off the court. We just have a drive, and it plays into the classroom. We also have a really high standard set for us by our coaches, and I think we are pushed to that standard every day, and there's no slacking on our part and on the coach's part of making sure we get that done. So it's just a matter of excellence and just a responsibility.
Well, best of luck this season.
Thank you.